Hello, my name is Andres, and I'm going to bring you a playlist that will be like a course for all those who are starting in this TFX system for Spanish speakers. It's a system that has been around for quite some time in the English-speaking community with incredible results, and I haven't seen it practically anywhere, or someone who explains it precisely in the Spanish-speaking community. So seeing that lately I've seen quite a few people who don't understand the playlist by the author Dave, and so you can find it on YouTube for those who find it tedious to watch his videos or who do not understand well with translation. So I'm going to make this kind of course in this playlist so you can understand the system. The idea is to have some videos with concise information and get to the point so you can understand the necessary concepts before starting how to execute the system well. So this video I'm going to make for you will be a brief introduction so you can have an idea of what you're going to find, what the system is about, and what you're going to see in this playlist, also in the videos. Also, so you can know a bit about the advantages this system has compared to others. So yeah, DTFX. The way I see it and what we use and how I would like to describe it is a system that serves to operate like a kind of supply and demand. Supply and demand. Very precise in an algorithmic way, because we use measurements of certain specific areas, and based on those measurements the price makes super precise taps. Like in this case, I mean, everywhere we look from now on, in the videos and in the areas that I am going to show you, you will see super precise touches of the price at those levels. Like here, it was also the case in this other area. It was similar to this one. So we will be seeing examples. The idea of this playlist is for you to have clear concepts, all the concepts you need to understand the system, and so that when it's time to apply it, they have everything they need. We are not going to change any concept, nor will we resort to extra things for different scenarios. The same concepts will apply absolutely every day. So it is necessary that we understand the basics well. So it's like a kind of supply and demand that will operate with the market structure. That's going to be the basis of everything. The market structure, like the price, makes higher highs and makes certain structural changes. Obviously, nothing is going to be so mechanical and linear, and that's the beauty of this system. It explains, well, how this is built from a low time frame order flow to weave the higher time frame structure now. It's a fractal system, which means that what we see in daily, weekly, and 4-hour charts, we can also see in 5 seconds or 1 minute. These are time frames that we are not very used to trading. Well, 1 minute, yes, but I am sure that the Spanish-speaking community is not very used to trading these 5 seconds. Well, here it's a mess, because it's the Asian session in the Nasdaq and there's low volume, but basically, we operate like these 5 seconds for executions and 1 minute for our structural guide. This is because as I said, it is a fractal system. So why do we use the lowest time frame we have available? Well, the lowest as such would be 1 second, but It's not really that useful to go to 1 second. I mean, 5 seconds is fine. It's enough. There's no need to get into the adrenaline of 1 second. But why do we use such low time frames then? Because if we are operating a fractal system in which the same thing happens in both the low and high time frames, this will compensate for the lack of opportunities we have with other systems. It's a system that also doesn't depend on time, like in the case of ICT, you depend a lot on time, on macro hours, on the economic calendar. There are many variables to be able or not to make an entry with ICT. On the other hand, with this system, you need absolutely nothing. No time, nor does it have to be a specific asset, a specific market. Nothing. It can be operated at any hour, in any session, in any market. Commodities, metals, indices, forex, crypto. It's super good in crypto too, in fact, nothing. The precision it offers in crypto is outrageous. I remember I had done an analysis with this system a few days ago, and coincidentally from there, a whole setup occurred that led to this rise, which is the only thing with crypto that suddenly a whale comes in and very strong movements happen suddenly. But as long as the market has normal volatility, it's also very precise. So this works for everything. Absolutely. All markets, forex currencies. The euro dollar is great for this. It's very precise. But what we mostly want is where there is more volume, more volatility, and that's where the Nasdaq shines, and gold too. If there are people who don't like trading indices that much, then they have gold, which is also very volatile. In fact, it also formed a beautiful setup on the 4-hour chart, with absurd precision. This system is not like others that require you to give more room with the stop loss just because you're on a higher time frame. No. The system will touch one of the areas at one of the levels we determined, and even though there are some ticks that create some wicks, everything develops from there. So, the advantages of this system, which are many, originate from this point as well. Thus, you don't depend on time, you don't depend on macro hours, which means you're going to have availability of the market for your trading that can adapt to your schedule. If you study, if you work, and can't be there during peak volume hours, the system will still work for you. Even with Nasdaq, which shines in the mornings during the New York session, and when the stock market opens in New York. Everything moves identically in Asia, that there is supposedly zero volume, which is inoperable with others. With other systems in Asia, moves completely the same in London as well. So, the only thing you need is to understand the areas, understand how we are going to build the price narrative, and whatever you're going to trade, you don't even have to look here. As long as you have a chart of something, it is more than enough. So in theory, this system also describes the functioning of high-frequency algorithms that entities that move a lot of money use. And it's the closest thing to that I've truly found. The precision that this system has shown me, even in such low time frames, 1 minute, 5 seconds, and consistently doing exactly this all the time, is something that you can't unsee, as they say. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. I was an ICT trader, by the way. I have 6 years of experience in markets, and ICT gave me the best results. But there came a point when I wanted more. And I wanted a system that would allow me to quickly pass account evaluations, in this case, profit evaluations. That capitalization process, which is what most traders ultimately seek, wouldn't take so long, because I'm not someone who wants to risk a lot to see if I hit a home run. I really like having a good amount of capital and gradually building more. But when there's a system that conditions you as much as ICT does, exactly, it stalls you. It stalls you a bit, and also makes psychological management more difficult, especially because ICT himself has quite a big ego and teaches you to laugh at other systems. I was someone who did that. In fact, that's how I discovered this system. In my ICT ego and being a market scholar, wanted to go and laugh at all the other systems. And when I saw this one specifically, it sparked an interest, because I saw Dave streaming and calling the price, what it was going to do, and what it was doing, and how it was going to do it, and it was very precise. I mean, he literally goes and draws, well, he draws something, and the price minutes later does exactly that same thing. So, of course, when I saw that, I said, how does he know this with just a few areas? And from there, I got into studying a lot. The system has been running for almost a year now. During the first few months, I had to transition from ICT to this, which was quite tedious. But now, I've been using only DTFX for many months, applying one thing or another in specific scenarios, like divergences or imbalances, practically nothing else. But these are things that have always been useful to me when applied at the right moment. So I use them as confluence. But what we are going to see is the only thing you need. The only thing you need to analyze the market daily, under any circumstance. So it is not necessary to overload yourself with more information. So those are the other advantages. You don't have to study a ton of concepts, an enormous amount of ideas, like Ries calls them. And from there, try to guess which one to use at some point. With this system, there is no need to guess anything. No need to wait for a specific time. So, that's it, I hope, from the people who are going to watch this playlist, and what I would expect you to look for in me. Or rather, that they are not going to find in me. I am not here to want to be the author of something. I don't want to say I created this. I simply saw it from the day, and that's it. I started applying it in the market. It started making a lot of sense to me in many ways, and it worked for me, and that's it. I'm going to explain it that way, and that's it. I don't want people here who come and say, no, this is called a breaker, this is called this happened because of this. Nothing. I mean, you can call this X, I can call it Y, someone else can call it, but the movement is the same. It's exactly the same chart. Just because one person calls it one way or another, the movement is not going to change. The movement remains exactly the same, and the chart is there. So, if the chart has always been there, why don't we study it? Why don't we simply see what it is doing? We name a couple of things in a certain way that we will always call them that, and we stay with that. I don't want people here who are going to waste time arguing and fighting on social media about what the name of something is. No, I'm going to explain with specific names, so this way I can understand all the market movements well. So that's what we're going to find here during the videos. After this, I'm going to explain the structure, how to select the zones, something about order flow, the functions of the system as such, certain patterns, what is the main pattern that we are going
to be trading and how it's good to execute.
Quite a few things, divided into several videos. The idea is that they are not too long, and once you understand those concepts well and internalize them, you will not need absolutely anything. I can assure you of that from my own experience and from the experience of people I've mentored before. So I hope this will be very helpful to you, and we'll see each other in the other videos.